You heard that report from Ali Arouzi in Tehran saying it seems his expectation from what he's picking up over there is not just a response, but I think he said a strong response from Iran. Do you think that is what's likely to happen here? What might a strong response look like? And I think the third part of the question, not to make this too complicated, is does the degree of what the United States just did, which I think surprised everybody, including apparently Iranians, does that raise the possibility at all that Iran might think twice before launching a strong response?
Well, yeah, the last part is very interesting because Iran has been pushing the envelope quite substantially since Trump took office. Admittedly, at least partially because Trump started off his administration by talking about how we were going to withdraw from the world stage. We're going to be isolationists. We had no business being in the Middle East and so on. And so they started to push the envelope properly to achieve what their longer term objectives were in the Middle East, to influence it more clearly and so on. The trouble is that they didn't expect a disproportionate response from their attacks. Now they do have to think a little bit more clearly about what happens next. They're going to attack, there's no doubt about it, and they can take lots of different forms. A cyber attack, for example, many cyber attacks, they're pretty good at it, and we're not very good at defending against them. Attacks on our locations in the Middle East, allied locations, and all the rest of that. But they've got to be very, very careful because the administration has already demonstrated a disproportionate response, and they don't want to engender a disproportionate response from anything that they do. So I think you are going to see attacks, and you are going to see them probably from their allies, from their proxies, and so on. You know, the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations today said, hey, something's going to happen, but it has nothing to do with us. Plausible deniability and so on. There is something in the offing, probably several attacks, harassment of ships in the straits and so on and so forth. But it's probably going to be a while before they do it because they got to figure out, they have to do the calculus to figure out what the result is.
Here's the other question, too, and Ali mentioned this. The Quds forces, which Soleimani was in charge of, the Iranian forces, as well as this network of sort of loosely affiliated Iranian-backed militias, taking him out of the picture. Somebody else has now been installed. Is this an interchangeable part here? Can you just throw somebody else in and the whole operation keeps going? Or have Iran's capabilities here been, for a period, diminished?
Well, in most circumstances and in most armies, there is great interchangeability, and it almost doesn't matter who you have as the head because he's going to rotate out in 2 or 3 years, in any case to be replaced by somebody else. This is a very much different situation. Don't forget that Soleimani's been there for a long, long time, in excess of 20 years. His deputy, who is now taking his place, Ghani, he's been with him. He had been with him for a long, long time, but he's no Soleimani. You can expect that although Soleimani was on a long, long leash, he was a semi-independent operator, could more or less do whatever he wanted outside Iran. Ghani is not going to be that guy. He's going to be on a very short leash.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.